All right, thank you guys. Happy Wednesday to you. And if you could do me a favor real quick, if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. I greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already joined the Brock Page delegation, please feel free to do that right now by tapping that subscribe button below. Now guys, we got ourselves a nice little slate of NBA action. It's a modified slate, not a whole lot of games, but definitely some games of interest. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm talking about the Grizzlies taking on the Celtics, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time in the Garden. The Boston Celtics are the 9-point favorite at home. Total's 224.5. And if you like Memphis to win this one outright, they're plus 340 for some money line cash. We're 5-0 in our last 5 Underdog tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And the good news is we have another Underdog tier package play going off this evening. We currently have a community of over 775 handicappers who are signed up and active on that Patreon page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Grizzlies are absolutely depleted right now. Tillman, Jones, Tilly, Melton, Porter, Morant, Jackson, and Winslow. They're all out for Memphis. Not questionable, not day-to-day. They are out. Now, the Grizzlies are also giving up over 121 points per contest, and they lost 2 of 3 to open up the season. They're taking on a Boston squad who's coming fresh off a 5-point win against Indiana. The Celtics are in the top 5 in three-point shooting, top 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, Walker, Langford, and Taco Fall won't be playing, but Jason Tatum's averaging 26 points a night, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists for the power forward. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown's also scoring 25 a game himself, 4 rebounds and a couple of steals for the 6'6 guard. Boston's gone 8-2 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Memphis. They're also coming fresh off a game with Indiana that got over the posted number as well. As I usually tell you guys, we normally start off with a dog, but we're going to start off with a little bit of chalk here. Give me the Boston Celtics -9 and the over 224.5. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines of personal leans out for NBA basketball here on Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy New Year's Eve to you. 2021's right around the corner. I know a lot of folks are certainly looking forward to that. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again, we're 5-0 in our last 5 Underdog tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 20 Underdog tier package picks in that same category as well. It's a red-hot package right now. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. And no, you did not mishear me. When you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So if you end up getting the Underdog tier package here today for $4.99, you're also going to get the daily best play and the extra daily pick along with the daily poll question. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in very small sample sizes versus wagering on every single game that's on the slate, side and total, like I do with my NBA free leans here on YouTube. Now, once again, we currently have a community of over 775 handicappers who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we got ourselves some more NBA action here. It's all queued up, fired up, ready to go on the big screen behind me. And we're going to take a look at the Hawks versus the Nets. And that's going to be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Brooklyn. Now, the Nets are -7 with a total at 239 flat. Brooklyn's on a 2-game losing streak, 0-2 against the number in those losses. The Nets are also in the bottom 5 in the league in the NBA in defensive rebounding. So once again, the Nets are in the bottom 5 in the league. I keep saying league. It's not. It's an association. The Nets are in the bottom 5 in the NBA in defensive rebounding. Now they're taking on an unbeaten Atlanta squad who's scoring 125 points a game and connecting on 42% of their three-pointers. Now Capella and Gallinari are questionable. Okungwu, Snell, and Dunn, they're out. Won't see them tonight. But who needs them when you have Trae Young, who's been scoring 34 points a game, 4 boards and 7 assists for the young guard. And John Collins, he's been scoring 14 points a game himself, 6 boards and a couple of blocks a game for the 6'9 forward. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Atlanta's last 3 ball games stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, Brooklyn is a perfect 4-0 to the under for the entire season themselves. Give me the underdog Atlanta Hawks +7, keeping that one close, and the under 239. Next matchup, it is going to be Bucks versus the Heat, 7:30 p.m. East. The Bucks are the 6-point favorite on the road. Totals 227.5. The Miami Heat's +$2 to win this one outright. But if you like Miami in this contest here, just keep in mind they lost 2 out of their 3 games thus far in the season. And they also went just 1-2 against the number in those contests. The Heat's ranking in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. And they find themselves scoring just 105 points a game. They're taking on a powerful Milwaukee team who's scoring nearly 129 points per contest themselves. And they also rank in the top 3 in offensive rebounding. Now the Bucks are connecting on nearly 44% of their three-pointers, and they find themselves shooting over 51% from the field. Chris Middleton scoring over 26 points a night, 7 boards and 6 assists for the forward. And of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo finds himself scoring 22 a game along with 11 rebounds and a couple of steals. Now Milwaukee's in the top 3 in defensive rebounding. And when it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee's 3-0 to the over away from home, 4-0 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Heat saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks -6 and the over 227.5. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Hornets versus the Mavericks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time in Dallas. The Mavs are the 8-point favorite, totals 223 flat. Now the Mavs lost 2 of 3 to start this season, just 1-2 against the number in those contests. Dallas is in the bottom 5 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 defensively in fourth quarter points allowed. They're taking on a Charlotte team who's coming fresh off a 2-point victory over Brooklyn. They actually held the Nets to just 104 points in that contest. The Hornets are in the top 10 in fourth quarter scoring, top 3 defensively in first quarter points allowed. Terry Rozier is scoring 27 points a game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for the veteran. Meanwhile, Gordon Hayward is scoring 23 a night, 5 boards and 7 assists for the former Celtic, actually 2 former Celtics. But anyway, total-wise, Charlotte is 2-0 to the under in their last couple of games. Dallas saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the line themselves. We're going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the underdog Charlotte Hornets +8 and the under 223. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be Lakers versus the Spurs, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip in San Antonio. The Lakers are -5.5 away from home, totals 230 juice to the under. And if you like the Spurs in an upset, they're +210 to win it. Now, San Antonio is a perfect 3-0 against the spread on the season, 2-1 straight up in those covers. The Spurs are in the top 10 in the association in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. DeMar DeRozan is scoring 21 points a game, 6 rebounds, 9 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Lonnie Walker is scoring over 15 points a game, 4 rebounds, and a couple assists for the Reading, Pennsylvania native. Now, the Spurs rank in the top 10 in the NBA in defensive three-point percentage. They're taking on a Laker team who's got LeBron James and Alex Caruso listed as day-to-day. Chance we won't see these guys in action here tonight, as both of those gentlemen are questionable. LA's also coming fresh off an 8-point loss to Portland, where they were held to just 107 points scoring in that one. Now, defensively, LA's in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter points allowed. And when it comes to the number in this one, The Lakers' last two straight both stayed under the posted total. Meanwhile, the Spurs' most recent outing with New Orleans stayed 35 points below the posted total for that contest themselves. Over bettors in that one never had a chance. Give me the underdog San Antonio Spurs plus 5.5 and the under 230. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blazers versus the Clippers, and that's going to be a 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Clippers are the 2.5-point favorite at home. Total's 228 and a hook. And if you like Portland in an upset victory, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. Now, the Blazers may have to go to work tonight without Nasir Little and Gary Trent Jr., both listed as questionable. Meanwhile, Zach Collins is still out. Now, the Blazers are in the bottom 10 defensively in points allowed. They're also in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, they're taking on a Clipper team who just mopped the floor with Minnesota last night. That was a 23-point victory in that one. The Clippers are 3-1 straight up on this season, 3-1 against the number in those contests. Now, we are seeing a lot of early movement fading the Clippers. Many experts not expecting Kawhi Leonard to play. Many experts expecting him to rest. Load management, not real surprising there. Guys only played in 2 out of the Clippers' 4 ball games on the season. That's pretty sad. But anyway, Paul George is still scoring over 22 points a game. 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the 6'8 guard. Meanwhile, Serge Ibaka is also scoring 15 a game along with 6 boards and a couple assists. The Clippers are in the top 10 in three-point shooting, top 10 in defensive rebounding. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, total-wise, LA's last 2 straight stayed under the number. Meanwhile, 2 out of Portland's last 3 stayed under the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the LA Clippers minus 2.5 and the under 228 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 5-0 in our last 5 underdog tier package picks on that website. And as far as our free plays go here on YouTube, I like Boston minus 9 over 224.5. I'm leaning toward Atlanta plus 7 under 239. I like the Bucks minus 6 over 227 and a hook. I also like Charlotte plus 8 under 223. I'm leaning toward the Spurs plus 5.5 under 230. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. And please subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. I like the LA Clippers minus 2.5 and the under 228 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout out to Yorkshire, Anthony Catalano, Vernon Williard, Daoud Issa, Eddie Sanchez, the Dingman C. Dinger, Jerome Watkins, straight to the point, Matthew Brown, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man. He was up early this morning. He was one of the first commenters. He was the first commenter on our college basketball video, which we posted, I think, before 7 a.m., but Eastern time. But anyway, last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to the early bird, Tony Hernandez. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a packager today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Yeah, that's what I say. I said in my other video, every once in a while I forget my lines. Like I forget what I say every day in and day out for the last 5 years. But real quick, if you guys decide to get a Patreon membership today, if you decide to sign up for a package, all the lesser expensive packages are included with your purchase. So if you get the Underdog package today, which is $4.99, all the cheaper memberships are included in that absolutely free. So if you get the Underdog package today, you're going to get the Underdog pick, you're going to get the daily best play, the extra daily pick, and the daily poll question. So a lot of content for you for just $4.99, but had to make sure you guys knew that whatever package you end up buying, you get all the cheaper packages absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But anyway, guys, most importantly, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy New Year's Eve to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.